And we're live, everybody.
All right.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome back.
Hello. Welcome to the Bean Podcast.
The Technically Human Podcast, the Not Bean Podcast.
We're gonna have some good beans on here.
Let me guys tell you a story about beans and how much I don't like beans. So I'm driving, and I got this food in my car. And I got beans in my car, for sure. The beans spill all over the ground. All over the interior of my car. And I'm very upset. And when I see these beans, it's weird because they formed Allie's face somehow. And I just felt pure hatred toward these beans in this very moment.
Probably some 20-odd miles away. This was still my fault.
Yeah,
somehow.
in a way.
I'm so sorry that I stopped your car too abruptly.
Constantly.
Spilling all those beans all over the floor.
You're fucking witchcraft, dude. It's ridiculous. You're
I'm
going to have to
sorry
knock it
about
off.
Witchcraft is a hard habit to break. I'm not gonna lie.
I can't stop these spells.
Once you buy bloodstone circles, you can't stop.
What, am I going to sell these runes? No.
They mean too much to me.
All right, but we're back up in here.
Yeah.
What's going on? Allie, how you doing?
I'm doing real good. How about
Good.
yourself? How was your Easter?
It was good. It was
Yeah?
good. Easter was yesterday. It was a good time. What did I do yesterday? Had pizza
Nice.
and celebrated the word of God. And that's you?
Totally. Yeah, same.
Nice, tight, dude.
Yeah.
Jesus is tight.
Yeah, why not?
So let's just jump right into it. What's going on? What you
Yeah.
got for me?
Well, I was reminded somehow, just looking at the notes, that the original idea of this podcast was to talk about kind of what we're doing as Technically Human.
Yeah.
So I think we should talk about what we're working on, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah. So we finished the first video that we have for the Dishing Dames.
Yep. Dishing Dames project.
Yeah, which is a cooking project where we are finding different local chefs in the area, female chefs, who want to talk about what they've been through in the industry and what they do and how they got where they are, and different like words of advice. And it's like really motivational, but also I feel like I haven't done enough. Did you get that feeling after talking to Abby?
What do you mean?
She was like, oh yeah, I got this way from reading 1,000,000 books to be exactly where I am, knowing actually everything that I'm doing. Like, she's so smart and so like motivated that I was totally like getting mad at myself inside my head the whole time.
I feel it's one of those things as like a creative person in general, but I feel film gets this a lot too, where you're constantly in the thing was like, am I a filmmaker yet? Did I do enough things to qualify for being called a filmmaker? And it's like one of those things I feel like never really goes away, where it's like, I'm getting asked to do these things, but am I worthy of doing them?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's always kind of like, oh, okay, I guess I can do this.
Yeah. It's like,
what do
you put on your business card still?
Yeah, well,
What do you put on your business card?
I put a robot on my business card.
Oh yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah, the most we could say about our company is yes, we are human beings.
We are human beings,
We
and
want
robots.
everyone to remember.
Robots are involved vaguely, but it's never going to be explained why or how.
Yeah, hey, listen, guys, it's marketing. It's not supposed to make sense all the time. Just trust me, we know what we're doing. Yeah, I think that's another thing that's pretty interesting about the industry that I'm barely in and don't really know a whole lot about, but I'm going to talk about it anyway.
Hey.
Is you get offered a lot of jobs that aren't actually jobs. They're more just someone looking for free work.
Yeah.
And they think because you love doing what you're doing that you'll do anything to do it. And that is an advice that I get a whole lot is if you want to be in this industry and you want to be something, do it every day, do it for free, intern, work as hard as you can, but also work for people that are going to help you achieve that goal. And when someone's trying to get you to do work for them that has no benefit to you, you got to learn to, like, even though this could be an opportunity, I don't think that this is the right direction.
I feel like this is a very cool topic that we can get into. So I'm out of school. You're soon to be out of film school. And I feel like a problem that is a big thing is like what we're talking about with freelance, where it's just like, at what point do I start charging people for what I'm doing and how much to charge? Because for whatever reason, it's kind of like a thing where it's not ever said particularly what that starting price should be.
Yeah.
And it's like a weird thing. It's like, well, do I start charging people now? Like, because it's also a thing of your self-confidence where it's like you don't want to charge someone if you don't feel confident in your work. But it's a thing where it's like you're always going to get better, so you're always not going to feel confident in your work 100%, at least for me. At this very moment, it could change. I don't know. But, like, I remember I kind of screwed myself on a deal where it's like I should have asked for not a lot more, but I got paid, like, fine for a project. But it ended up being, like, a couple months worth of work. And it was for about maybe, like, a week's worth of pay. Initially, they paid me more because they recognized that it was like a long time, but still.
But they didn't have to. You know,
they didn't have.
You realize you're
I screwed
suddenly
myself
in this situation where I need more than. Yeah, that's happened a lot. And then there are also a lot of people don't know how much, at least right now, from where I am in filmmaking, how much of filmmaking is making changes. So you get a script and then you're supposed to like make 4 or 5 different versions of it, run it through approvals, make sure everyone is on board and okay with what we're doing, especially if it's a client job.
Yeah.
And so many times I've gotten past editing where we have like the second cut or the third cut and they're like, ooh, that scene is not going to be in this. We can't have that. It's too whatever.
Yeah.
So, and that causes so much more work. And that's like, then what you made is like not completely what you wanted it to be. And there's so many issues that come along with that. And then you're also like continuing to work on something past the time that you could, that you agreed to. But this person like can force you to do that, you know?
And especially if you're someone that hasn't worked for a long time, like us at this point in time.
Is this a long time?
That's the thing. Is like, what's a long time? Like, what's a
I still
professional?
feel pretty green.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I'll always feel like super green, but just because like we're in a time now where like technology is always changing, so it's like some people like with film. Well, no, I won't say that because technology is always changing, but. You never feel like you're ever caught up to something. Like there's always more stuff that you have to learn or that you can learn to be a better like editor or shooter or actor. Like it's always kind of moving and you never kind of like finding that self-confidence. Like what do you think for you would be like that point where you would find that self-confidence in yourself to feel that way, to feel confidence like, hey, I'm doing a thing and I deserve this much for it? Because you also do makeup, SFX makeup. Like
but that's easier because for that one, a lot of makeup artists on YouTube thank God for those ladies and gentlemen because they are so open and honest and they'll tell you the true stories. And the truth about SFX makeup and different makeup jobs is they'll pay as little as possible, and they will try to make it sound really good, like it's $100 a day. Well, you could be working 13 hours because it could be for a you just don't know what you're going to get until you get there. And then also one thing that's really important with SFX makeup is like the materials that you're using, because there's a really cheap way to make anything, but there's also a really expensive way to make it very nice. And you have to decide with your client, like, is this somebody who I can give them a $500 bill and they're like, okay, that's reasonable? Or is this somebody that like my entire bill has to be $500?
Right.
So like normally what I do is I think about how much I would want to get paid hourly for a job that I would be doing if I wasn't doing this. So right now that's Uber Eats.
Hey.
Yeah, me and DJ both work for Uber Eats, not sponsored. Could be sponsored.
Yeah, Uber Eats. You want to like sponsor us to work for you?
Come at us.
That'd be kind of dope.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Do you think there's ever been like a Blue Apron worker that also has a podcast that gets sponsored by Blue Apron?
Oh,
I that'd be kind of
Blue Apron's
really
got to
cool.
have their own podcast by now, right?
Uber's got a podcast.
What?
Uber Eats drivers have a podcast.
Oh my God.
And there's like 4 episodes or 3 episodes. It's like I've been meaning to listen to it because it's like, what do you talk about?
No, that sounds so boring.
Because it's not like a shit talking podcast, because there's a lot of things that you can complain about Uber Eats.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But it's like a company made podcast, so you're just like, what do you say?
Are you allowed to say anything other than Uber is the greatest company that ever existed? I'm so glad that they exist. All right, tune in next week for us to say the same thing.
Yeah, and then just like 10 people in the background, Uber is the greatest company that ever existed.
And they've got tinfoil hats.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so if I was working Uber Eats, I'd make around $10 an hour, so I'd charge someone $10 an hour. So it's like and also I've done enough makeup looks on myself and on my friends that I know roughly how long it's going to take me to do anything. So I can say like, okay, I'll be there for about 4.5 hours. I'm going to charge this guy $50 for me to do it. And also is like, if they're your friend, you won't charge them for materials. If they're not your friend, you will. And like, it's just easy. It's easier for me to see like the outline of what that is. But with filmmaking, it's like, you got to look at what other people are making and what they were making when they were not super big. And like, I think it's more complicated.
And it's also kind of weird too, because like in the internet age that we're in right now, it's like it's kind of like a thing that's like before there was like a clear gateway that you had to get into. It's like if you wanted to be, for myself, I'll just use an editor because I edit a lot. That's like kind of my thing that's my strength, my strong suit is editing. So it's like, okay, so if in say the 80s or 70s, like, oh, I want to be an editor, I'll go under a person and become an assistant editor at like a company or whatever. Like I had like there's steps that you had to go through before you could become an editor. And like, this is me speaking from what I think, because I obviously wasn't alive in the 70s or 80s, but from what I'm understanding, there's a gateway. There's like clear people that you had to get through to become the thing that you want to do. But now with the internet and open source, like there's so many open source products that you can do whatever you want, like whenever you want, which I think kind of makes it harder for people because people can't rest on the excuse of like, oh yeah, well I can't because like that's a company that I have to work for. I was like, you could do editing right now if you want to. You could go shoot something on your phone. You could do anything that you really wanted to do. And I feel that kind of makes it tough for people too, because there's not a clear pathway anymore. There's like so many different ways that you can go about doing one thing nowadays that it's like, it makes it more confusing for people, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you look at how many people out in the industry either didn't do college or started college and then dropped out, my, like, two favorite comedians right now are both college triers.
Yeah.
Which I think is the best way to call them. So they're
they
college
gave it a
triers.
shot.
They gave it their best shot, and it wasn't for them because either they were too smart for it or couldn't follow orders or
they gave it
whatever it was. But, like, now it's almost like the archetype for a successful person is like not so easily defined as someone who can go to college,
Yeah.
Like college used to be a like filter where you could almost say like, oh, if you've been through this, you might be good at this. But the opposite may actually be true for different things like writing and editing. You got to have like a soul. Yeah. And some people don't make it out of college with one of those.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and there's so many ways to do that. Like there's only so many ways to do a like open heart bypass surgery. There's like a million ways to edit something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
not to like discredit that. It's just saying like there's like specific instructions that you have to follow to like be sure. Yeah, there's regulations.
Yeah, and you can go to work and remove a tumor and you don't go home and say like, am I a surgeon? Like,
yeah, it's like you're a surgeon.
You and me have sat here, we've made like a good number of videos and you graduated fucking college.
Yeah, I'm out of college now.
Yeah,
finally.
We both had jobs doing this, but still we're like, am I doing this? Is it real yet? I don't know. So like, I think there's definitely an aspect of I have this image in my head of what it's like, and it's basically like a big mountain. Okay. And at the top is the world's wisest screenwriter. Okay. All right. No names because I don't want to give anyone a big head. Okay. So the wisest screenwriter's up there, and then I have to like slowly climb up. But through my journey, I must also like learn things. Okay. And meet people, and like it's a whole journey. And then when I get to the top, like. This person gives me one little sentence of advice, only one. Okay. And then from then, I would know I was a writer.
That seems really fucking involved.
That's all I want.
Convoluted.
That's all I want. So if you're looking to hire.
That was like the most like writer way to answer that question. Dude, scene opens.
The next time we hire someone, we should go climb a mountain and say like, come find us.
Come get at us.
You may come find us, and if you find us, you can have the job.
Your check is at the top of this mountain.
With 600 steps.
But it's like Last Jedi style where they get to the top and we hand out like the thing and then just throw it over our shoulder.
Nah, just
kidding. Fuck you.
Or holograms.
Yeah. Oh my god, Last Jedi was a movie.
Dude.
It was better than Rogue One, I'll say that. Yeah. I hate Rogue One. We're both on the...
Yeah, we're down to hate Rogue One.
Yeah.
But I will stand by Rian Johnson being my favorite person for not only killing Luke Skywalker, but killing Luke Skywalker twice.
He deserved it. He deserved it, and he deserved it fine. I don't know. I'm so conflicted about how I feel about Last Jedi in general, because a lot of people are really hung up on the idea that it's like, oh yeah, it was like a movie based on disappointment, and it's like, all right, like, yeah, sure, but at the same time, people have waited. Yeah, it's like,
sorry, I had to process that, but I'm back.
people have, like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like,
all right.
You can do that with your indie movie. People have been waiting for Star Wars for so, like, this is some people's like year-end event.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I get it, but at the same time, can we just have a Star Wars movie? Can we just make a Star Wars movie?
Yeah, and also this one, like, basically what they're saying is it defied expectations. They're finding a meaner way to say, you thought it was going to go one way and it surprised you. Fuck you, that's good writing.
Yeah.
Like, it's, like, good writing should surprise you and it should catch you off guard.
At least, I feel like there's a difference between what Last Jedi did and surprising. Because, like, I love surprises in movies. Like, I'm all about that. A Quiet Place is coming out, and I'm super pumped about it because they're not showing the monster. At least that I've been kind of avoiding and not seeing. Like, I don't know what it looked like. And also love Simon, which I just saw that I've been, like, all about recently. Its trailer is so perfect because, like, the trailer is, like, a dream sequence in the movie. Like, it gives nothing away about the plot or, like, whatever, but it perfectly sets up what the vibe of the movie is. And with Last Jedi, it felt like it didn't surprise, it just kept disappointing people. Like, throwing out the idea was like, oh, we're going to find out what happened to Rey's parents. Like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's like, oh, okay. Also, spoilers for fucking Last Jedi. I don't know.
If you care about Last Jedi, you would have already seen it. Like,
yeah, that's, you know.
This is one of those, yeah, you would have fucking seen it by now.
I always just like giving a courtesy thing, but yeah, it's like people that.
No, fuck courtesy.
But like, so like, or like with Snoke.
Okay, but yeah, okay, continue.
No, just like with Snoke, it's like, oh, now he's dead, and it's like, I know what the fuck was the point of everything else.
Outfit,
I don't care about his stupid shoes, his little elf shoes, little stupid looking freaking raisin man.
Oh wow!
I'm just
so bad.
I'm just like
I think what's nice about this, I don't know, because Star Wars has always been like the big undefeatable enemy, the vast army that you've never actually seen in entirety. It looks like this big, like the dark side as a whole is, you know, the dark side. It's you think of it as half or more of the galaxy, or you think of the Empire as this giant force, and it's always been so huge. But this, we're so far into it, and we've killed so many people and so many like armies that we're down to like the last remaining characters. So we're coming up with new ones and coming up with new ones. So like with Snoke, I was like, I didn't want a Darth Vader remasking. You know?
Yeah, that's been a big trope too that they've been kind of figuring out how to get past, because they just made another bigger Death Star in the first Force Awakens.
Yeah,
but the first Force Awakens, but in first Force Awakens.
Yeah, that was pretty dumb. I'm not gonna lie. I also have some opinions about Force Awakens.
But it was just like,
yeah.
It was. I like Force Awakens a lot. It's probably. But you know, all this stuff that I'm talking about, Last Jedi, it's like one of the stronger Star Wars movies to me. Like, I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, so like things that, like Rey's parents not being anything. Like, to me, that speaks more to this is not a Star Wars remake. This isn't the same thing over and over again. Because in the original Star Wars, yeah, your family mattered. Your blood mattered because it mattered whose son was who and whose daughter was who.
Literally one family fucking up the galaxy.
Yeah. It was the tale of a family fucking up the galaxy. And I think that to survive as like a universe past all of this, past all the continuity errors, specific errors that actually happened, there's so much shit and there's so much wrong with it, and there's so much contradicting stuff out there that you can't just keep saying it's the biggest, baddest person, and this is the biggest, baddest person. And Snoke was just trying to do his best, yo. Like, he bought giant...
He's trying to live his best life. Why are we being mad at him?
Yeah, he's never gonna be Darth Vader, so he was going for his own thing. And so he got giant holograms to put up in everyone's ship. It looks super cool, and got all these outfits, and he did his own thing, but I think he was lame enough to die.
But the thing is, it's like, what was his thing?
Well, what's it? Yeah, it's a good question.
Because it's like, to me, it's like, I don't like my time being wasted, and I feel like all this shit was just a waste of time. It's like, oh, you made me think about for like, what, fucking 2 years about who Rey's parents were? It's like, oh, it didn't matter. It's like, fuck you, dude.
Okay.
Write something cool. Or like, oh, Snoke's gonna be this big bad guy. Oh, he gets fucking killed. It's like, all right, then what are we doing here? What's the point of me caring about anybody from here on? Because you're just gonna do some weird shit. Like, you didn't, like, my problem with it is that it's completely different in tone, which is fine. But, like, it felt like Rian Johnson, who's a very good director. I love Looper. I love a lot of other things that he's done. But, like, to me, it feels like he saw what J.J. Abrams was doing. They're like, imagine they're playing football. J.J. Abrams, like, throws, like, a ball at him. And then Rian Johnson looks at it, completely is able to catch it, but then, like, steps to the right.
Yeah, I think
and
that's
then
classy. I don't know why, but I'm like, fuck yeah.
It's just, like, there's nothing with it. And it's like, all right, but, like, can you at least, like, just grab the ball and put it in the end zone and then do your own shit? Like,
no,
you know?
because, but, like, the thing about Rey's parents is, like, I don't think there was an answer that, like, even 20% of the Star Wars community could agree was a good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not going to be an answer that someone on Twitter already guessed, because everybody's guessed everything. Like, people are throwing shit out of, like, just as soon as they see another character, they're like, oh, that could be her mom. Oh, that could be her dad. Oh, that could, like, people are getting so obsessed that somebody somewhere is going to stand up and be like, oh, I thought of that first. Oh, this is a good idea. I thought I did that. Yeah. I like the fact that he's like, fuck you guys. I'm writing this show, and I'm saying Rey's cool because she's fucking cool, not because she needs a dad who's cool, you know?
Yeah,
and that was
a
big complaint I had with Rogue One, was like, literally the main character was not a rebel of any sort. She followed orders, she went where she was told, and she like carried on the like mission of her father, you know? And like the coolest thing she did was she had a dad who did something really cool.
Talk about the most inactive protagonist of all time.
Super disappointing.
I was so hyped for Rogue One too. I was like, because that's like my favorite aesthetic of the Star Wars universe. Like, I love like dingy, like rebel, like ragtag, like that kind of thing. I was like, man, Rogue One's gonna be the fucking best. And then I watch it and it's just like, I don't like her. I don't know her. I don't know her. We never explain who she is, really.
She doesn't do anything like heroically cool, I think. You know, there's
not
that speech, and that speech is all right. It's not very well written, but it's all right.
Yeah.
And like it's also another one of those movies that's like, we have a girl protagonist and no other women. Like, we had one girl in this whole movie.
I'm getting real upset because this has been happening a lot with, like, have you seen Atomic Blonde?
No, but you told me about it.
Dude, Atomic Blonde and, like, movies like that, I'm getting real pissed with this, like, oh, we're going to have a female protagonist, but not give her any fucking character at all. It's like, her character is that she drinks vodka and she fights people and beats them up. It's like, that's not a fucking character. That's
doesn't
like,
count.
It's bad writing. It would be a badly written guy character, too. Like, it's not, like, a gender thing. It's like, and then, like, I feel like I say these things and then, like, people get mad at me. It's like, oh, you just don't like women in movies. It's like, no, I just want them to be written well. Like, I just saw Annihilation. Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I was so excited that they didn't use the fact that they were women to be part of the story. Like, their story was that they were doing this thing and that, like, it didn't matter. It felt like, oh, like, they don't talk about an apocalypse now. It's like, oh, then we're all men too. Ain't that weird? It's like, no one cares. Like, I don't care.
Imagine if they had one moment in every army film where they're all just like sitting around.
They're on
like,
the boat.
Hey, and nobody thinks it's kind of weird that we're all dudes here. Like,
should we be not allowed to do this? You know what? Dude power, dude. Hell yeah. Fight the patriarchy.
Represent.
Yeah, it's like it's like one of those things where it's like someone yelling loudly like a good message, but like yelling it in like the worst way. Where it's just like, I can't think of a good example right now, but it's like, oh, I think that we shouldn't have slaves anymore in any part of the world. And you know what? They should be given cookies too and be treated very nicely. And it's like, yes, but also maybe not the best way to put it. kind of thing. That's not a good example, but it's like.
But a really good example would be like Tumblr feminists.
Yeah, like Tumblr feminists. Like your message.
All men are evil because they do. Okay, listen, that's not what we're trying to say here. We're just trying to say, come on, like.
You know what?
We're trying to say some really important things here, and you're making it all worse.
We're coming for equality, so that means that they're gonna have to get fucked over, and it's like.
Jeez.
What? Wait, what?
And it's like, and then people get to stand up and be like, well, this feminist said this. I'm like, she's 15.
Yeah, like our source shouldn't be Tumblr bot 57. Like,
yeah, like.
The shit I said at 15 is like ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't want these people talking for me.
Yeah, and it's fucked up because it's like, I talk with Mary about this all the time, which you guys will owe me very soon. But I talk with Mary about this all the time about how I remember being like growing up on the internet and just being like, oh yeah, I guess feminism is like bad and they're like annoying people because like that's all I really knew was like Tumblr feminism.
Oh yep, I did too. Like surprisingly, I did too.
And it's like one of those things where it's like you guys are like just shut the fuck up. You're giving everyone a bet. You're fucking over your own cause by the extremities that you guys are going to right now. You're completely delegitimizing anything. Like this amazing message that should be like obviously heard, but it's like you guys are kind of taking your own shit right now.
They're just really not doing the research. They're stopping at like the first sentence of the description of feminism, and they're stopping at what benefits them. And it's like honestly
just headline readers.
Yeah, and I think anybody who considers themselves a feminist or wants to consider the idea of like going into feminism, like. We're on to like trans rights now, and we're on to like things that have big implications to very marginalized people
for a very long time. That's been here for
I think it's time. Like if you're really talking about feminism, we're not talking about like boys say mean things or like it's no longer a battle of men versus women. It's like we now need to all stand together and protect the people that are being like literally hung in other countries for being who they are.
Right.
So like
hung in this country too.
Yeah, in
like,
this one.
Fucked over in this country as well. Yeah.
Yeah, denied medical service and like it's just so not the battle that some people think it is, that it's exhausting to explain yourself after a while.
Yeah.
But let's step away from feminism.
Yeah. I like that we went in from Star Wars into deep Tumblr feminism.
God damn
it. The problems within the community.
I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry I got here.
I'm sorry, Mary. She's gonna.
I'm sorry you weren't here for this, Mary.
Yeah. Mary, come on. What the hell? Asshole.
But yeah, Star Wars.
Nice.
Glad we talked about that.
Yeah. I hope, can we make it a point that we talk about Star Wars in some point or fashion in every single podcast?
Oh, sure. I'm down.
The holiday special was weird because Luke Skywalker had a weird haircut and it made me uncomfortable.
I'm not going to be that much of a Star Wars geek. I won't do it on just basic principles.
I think that's fun. I think it's funner that way, though.
Oh, man. I don't think they're happier. That's the only thing. Is like
being a Star Wars person is being disappointed all the time.
Yeah, it's about being disappointed and being mad and only liking things that no one will ever talk about, you know?
The Star Wars community is so involved that they have a Wikipedia page about a chair.
About what?
About a chair.
Which chair?
It's a special chair.
What is it? Is it? Well, is it like the driver's seat of the Millennium Falcon? Because I understand, but like...
No, it's just like a chair in a bar.
What?
Yeah. It's like a chair. I forget what chair it is, but it's like there's like a chair, like a page dedicated to this chair.
Okay, I take everything back. That's fucking amazing.
Okay, is this it? The Mechno chair.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Okay, so wait, is this... What? What the fuck is this? Oh, okay. It's about that little thing that walks around that does the holograms.
Yeah, that cool.
Thing. That's cool. All right, I take it back. That's cool.
Sorry, Star Wars community.
Star Wars. They like just have guns pulled, like already about to like shoot us dead.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, all right, lowering the pistol.
I'm gonna very carefully open every package I get this week.
Hey, living in fear is the best way to live.
That was really good.
You got what's the new topic,
local
dude?
Jokes get local jobs.
Hey.
Next topic. We have some to choose from. I'll go with this one. What do you think about taking a year off between high school and college?
I think it's a great idea. I feel like as a society, it's not supported
Yeah.
in America. I feel it's tough because who I was from the ages of 16 to 18, I feel are the change that occurred in that was like so crazy huge, I feel. Because you go from being a high schooler and then you're told that you're an adult and that you have to be an adult now. And it's like, it's very jarring that you don't have time to kind of figure that out because you're still doing school. But then also it's like, now you're an adult. It's like, well, what the fuck's happening? I don't know. But I don't know. I would totally be down if America kind of brought that mentality of like taking a year off. Because I think, the UK does that.
Really?
Right? Yeah, I think the UK does like
I didn't research this.
I'm just remembering from like an RT podcast I heard from like forever ago that Gavin was talking about, but he said something along the lines of like if they don't get a year off, they get a year in high school, like their senior year, they get to like pursue like a job or something and then graduate or something like that. Like they have time in between to kind of figure out before they go to university.
I see.
But yeah, no, I'd be totally down. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think because I have a cousin who's a student athlete at A&M. It's Charlie Campbell. She's the best.
Bang, bang.
She's a diver and she's so cool.
Yo, shouts out Campbell, represent, bang bang.
Totally. But yeah, it was like obviously for athletes, it's definitely. You get the scholarship to start that semester, and if you don't take it, like, you lose it.
Yeah.
And you can't, it's not as easy to say, oh, I competed in the 2 years ago, I was a really good runner, because maybe you weren't running or swimming or whatever you do. Mm-hmm. So, like, I think that's part of the reason I would say, like, some people shouldn't, but I think everyone else should definitely seriously think before they step into college. Like, yeah. I think people think more about what cars they get than what college degree they're going to start out with. And, like,
a lot of times it's not even like their choice sometimes, you know, because like they'll like parents will be like, oh, you're gonna go to this college.
Yeah, don't listen to your parents. If you're a kid out there and you're listening to this for some reason, don't listen to your parents. Do whatever.
That's a terrible advice.
Do whatever the hell you think is right.
How the hell did you get that? Don't listen to your parents.
If you're 18, you're not a kid anymore.
Okay, I think you're just telling small children not to listen to their parents.
If you're 10, don't listen to your parents anymore. You do whatever. Your parents aren't always right.
That's very true. Listen to your parents most of the times, unless they're doing questionable things.
Think about everything they say, and if you would do it on your own, then think about doing it.
You see, that's fucked up because my morality and my social, like the things I found important as a child were very different than what's right. I remember telling my mom one time to basically fuck off because I wanted to stay up and watch the Muppets. Because I was supposed to take my nap.
Seriously?
Yeah, and
All right, if you're a bad person, listen to your parents.
I remember, like, I was, like, 5 or, like, 8 or whatever, and my mom was like, all right, it's time to take your nap. And so I was probably 5, not probably 8. But I was like, it's time to take your nap. I was like, I don't want to take my nap because I just got these, like, Muppet DVDs from the library. And I was like, you have to take your nap. I was like, but, Mom, I want to watch Kermit. I don't want to take my nap, and I want to watch Kermit.
Oh, my gosh.
But, long story short, I took my nap.
I'd smack you. I'm so glad I don't have a kid.
Mother.
It's time for sleep.
It is time. I was a little rebel.
You know what
when
my
I was a
mom
kid,
would
dude.
do in that situation? She did this all the time. She had us trained that if she said, hey, Allie, or like, hey, Patrick, or whatever, like, hey, hi, she'd be like, hey, cough real quick. And like, we'd be like, she's like, oh, you're a little sick. I think I should give you a Benadryl. And if you don't know what happens when you take Benadryl as like a 12-year-old, you fall asleep so fucking fast.
I was drugging you?
Oh, yeah. Every time we got on a plane, on a car, like.
Oh, my God.
Well, we were the fucking worst. Like, I understand.
Oh, looks like you're sick. Like, she could just easily just give you the drugs, but she wants to justify it to you.
Hey, cough real quick.
It's like Munchausen syndrome. It's like, looks like you're sick. You're going to have to get this Benadryl real quick.
Nah, man.
Extra drowsy. It's the only one we got. Uh-oh.
Can't believe you talked back to your mother for Muppets.
But I mean, I didn't talk back to my mother. It was more of a conversation where I was really just trying to make her see my side of things.
I would love a clip right now of what he considered a conversation at the age of 8. Mom!
Mom, you gotta understand. Mother, please understand this.
Diane,
listen, I'm trying to watch the Muppets, and me taking that nap really is gonna impede on that, and I really would like. Can we maybe schedule the nap for another time, or maybe another?
I just need you to communicate your emotions right now. How are you feeling about?
Yes.
How is this affecting you?
We see about like a little chart that I can pull up right here, real quick, and it's like the time that I could be spent taking a nap here would impede on the time of me not watching Kermit.
So what I'm saying is, if you're this kind of adult, don't decide to go to college. if that's where you are, that's the other thing that I get at is, at 18, especially if you're going to go into a degree like business, or if you're going to be a lawyer, or if you're going to be a film major, or anything where you have to have a little bit of a public face, it's okay to not feel like you can jump right in because you're an 18-year-old and you have a loud mouth and you could be really disrespectful sometimes and you're probably going to mess it up super bad.
Allie, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Was that a little bit too long?
And then you go to school and then you get bullied.
And everybody hates you. But, like, there's...
Yeah.
I don't know. I've had plenty of times at school where, like, I felt... Like, yeah, I couldn't go to so many... Not so many, but, like, a good 4 or 5 jobs because they were at a place where I had to be 21 to get in and I was only 20.
Yeah.
And like, you don't know where you'd be if you could have done that, but at the same time, like, realize if you're not mature enough to go to college yet, that's okay. Like, go off and become mature. Go off and like travel or don't travel or get a job or like pick up a YouTube channel for fun.
Yeah. If you're doing film, take a year to do film.
Seriously.
And like get in there and like, because I do agree that I'm very conflicted when it comes to school. And you know what? Everyone takes their own path, whatever. But for myself, I kind of wish that I didn't go to school full time. But, it's confusing because we wouldn't be doing this podcast if I didn't do that. But there are some people with certain schools where it's like, you can get all that you really need to know from the first year that you go there and then just go really hard on, like, doing, like, extracurriculars and, like, going to like 40-hour film festivals and like making friends to like make films with and like stuff like that. And you don't have to go the entire time because there are some fields where it's like with film and like with, I don't know with audio, but I'm assuming with audio, with like things that are more creative, like you get experience is, I feel, held over like a degree. Like if there was like say there's 2 of me and we're all both going up for the same job. One of me finished college and one of me like didn't, but like has like a lot of experience and shit. Like I feel like the person that has a lot of experience is gonna get the job over the person in college.
Who would you have help you out on a shoot?
The person that knows what they're doing.
Yeah,
at the
I'm
end
not
of the
gonna
day.
take time to set someone aside and say like, all right, is your cell phone turned off? Are your shoes closed-toed?
You want to know that you have someone that you can just like put in a situation, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's sink or swim, and you got to figure out if you're going to sink or swim. And like, I guess the ending thing for me is like, if we're going to take college seriously, and if degrees are going to mean anything in the future, you can't send a bunch of 18-year-olds in there to be representing that demographic and that like group of people, because 18-year-olds are fucking stupid. I'm sorry, I'm only 21. I have no...
Allie's hot takes. 18-year-olds are stupid.
Allie's hot takes. Come at me.
Bang, bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
Yeah, but like, I don't think, like, especially if you want to do film and if you want to do these things, like, you could benefit from being a little bit older and wiser when you started out. And also, if you're doing something and you'd rather be doing film, like, you're never too old to start doing it. We have so many people in school with us who tried doing 8 other jobs before that, or were very successful at other jobs and then wanted also to do this. And like, we go to school with a good number of people who are in their 40s, and that's a normal thing to see. And juxtaposing that person next to a 18-year-old who's fresh out of college and is going to or is fresh out of high school and is going to college because that's what their parents told them to do, one is going to try harder to learn than the other, and one is gonna be picked a million times over the other. So
yeah, and it's also a thing too of like especially if you're a writer, go out there and get life experience, because the stuff that you're gonna write if you go like to college is gonna be very similar to everyone else, because like no fault of anyone's like of their own, but like you're all having the same kind of experience, so you're all gonna make a movie about someone that doesn't know what they're doing.
A coming of age
with a
20-something-year-old.
Yeah, and it's like everyone's gonna kind of have that perspective. But if you go out and you like live a life and like do your shit for a while and then come back to school, because like you're gonna make a better product in or more unique product, I should say, in my opinion, because like we were talking about earlier, schools kind of changed in a way where it's like college used to be the barrier for information and knowledge, but like now we have the internet. And granted, not everything on the internet is true, but I've learned a lot of things technically, like from the filmmaking process on the internet, opposed that I did in college, where it's like you don't technically need the school system anymore to succeed in the thing that you want to succeed in, because there's a vast amount of information that you can kind of go out and figure it out yourself.
Yeah, and I think a big reason I went to college was because I was told college, like especially for AI, is like we're gonna give you the opportunities for you to be successful, and that's a very important distinction, because a lot of times I feel like what has really changed me as a creator and what has really helped me grow as a professional have been things that are unrelated to school that I heard about because a teacher told me about them, which is a really useful asset to have. It's also really useful when your teachers are out in the industry, which is true with a very few number of our teachers, but still some of them, is then you can say, oh, I learned from John Johnson. I learned how to edit. And then like, oh, I know John Johnson. That's really cool that you had him as a teacher. And like, that's useful. But in no way I don't think any school could claim that you could start and finish your schooling without doing anything outside of it and come out a competent creator.
No, the people that go and like I remember at my first school, like I saw this all the time, but I knew several people that would just like go to class, barely go to class really, and then just go home and play video games all day. And it's like, how are you not so, and this is my own paranoia speaking, but like how are you not so terrified, scared that you're not gonna have the experience to like, it's like instead of playing video games, like go animate, like spend time animating, or
watching someone animate, or on
watching
YouTube,
someone animate, like make something that's helped me a lot in my productivity, because I'm not talking shit, because like I used to be a person like that in high school. Like that used to be, I played a countless amount of video games. I still watch an insane amount of wrestling. I listen to podcasts. I play whatever, this and that. Like I waste time all the time. But like something that's helped me is like I changed my addiction from watching like YouTube videos to editing, or like I try to make that like my new addiction, where you kind of like find something that you can make and fall in love with and just like make you want to keep doing it and keep going after that goal.
Yeah, and also like taking a deeper look at whatever you like and trying to figure out why you like it. That's definitely something I've started doing, to the point where like if I read a book that I super like, I'll go follow the writer on Twitter, because like what they're tweeting about might be, I might like maybe just vicariously I'll pick up on something.
Yeah.
But also going like, oh, I liked that because it's the rule of threes in comedy, or it's a reversal of what people thought was going to happen. Like think about those things and think about pacing, thinking about timing, thinking about editing. Like you can proactively watch TV. It's not as fun. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. But you have to turn on that switch in your brain that goes like, even though you hated analyzing poetry in high school, like analyze it like you would do that. Like ask yourself. And, you talked about dialogue with writing. Dialogue is really hard to write. And it's because everyone talks differently. And that's actually hard to... If you say yeah all the time, you want naturally all your characters will say yeah until you learn how to create different voices in your writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So... Yeah, having people say like yeah, like I say yeah instead of yeah, and then people say okay, and people say
Oakley dokley.
Oakley Dokley or Okie Dokie.
Okie dokie.
uh,
Okie dokie.
Aces is one of my favorites.
Aces is fun. I
That
like
one's
Aces.
tight.
I like I like being like not being called, but like the Aces being a term, like
Yeah.
like a person, like oh that's the ace of this, like the top, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
fucking ace.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I like saying that was ace. Like
yeah,
when
that was
when
ace.
people are
That's
like
dope.
that was an ace edit, man. Like
Mhm.
right on target.
Hell yeah.
So when you are watching a TV show or writing characters or
Mhm.
like even listening to someone talk who's from a state that you've never been from,
Yeah.
actively turn on that point in your brain that's going, what are they using to fill up their words? How are they calling their soda cans? How are they calling different things? And then also being able to apply that to the correct characters.
Mhm.
So I don't know. There's certain things that you can pick up on by actively being a consumer that you don't need college for.
Right.
And I wasn't taught that in college.
Mhm.
Like that's something I picked up through listening to podcasts. I
Yeah,
think.
just
I
outside
can't
sources.
quote which one it was, but I think it was a podcast that was like, yeah, just actively listen to everything you hear 100% of the time.
Yeah, because that's you see things and like the creative people are usually like very like visual or very like hands-on kind of people. So like if I'm watching something, like I'm like obviously like I'm still enjoying it, but I'm also kind of looking as like, oh, well, I was like watching Freaks and Geeks last night. It's like, oh, this lighting's like
Yeah.
super harsh, but you know what? It was like the first thing, and like that's super cool and whatever. But like you kind of notice these things, like, oh, this lighting's super harsh, or like you think of like the lighting setup that they probably used for this specific shot to like match it with the environment or the other shots. And I just had another example, but I forgot it. But yeah, things like that. We're just like, oh, cool, and it's like a little fun game for yourself. It's like, oh, I'm breaking down how I think this works, or like what went into this, or something of that regard.
Yeah, and there's ways to do that, but you just gotta like start, you know.
Yeah,
That's
I
a big
feel
thing.
the go home for this, like, you know what? Just start your stuff, get in there, and do what you like to do what you love
Go
to do. And
now.
Yeah, go.
Right fucking now.
Go right now! Oh my god!
What are you still doing here?
There's a coming up. No, stop.
That's the best part about podcasts. Your hands
do
are
that.
free. Go start doing whatever you need to do. You know, like I listen to podcasts like I moderately try to like craft things, and I have no confidence to call myself any one of the crafts that I've tried, so I'm not going to. But it's really easy to turn on a podcast and do that for hours.
Yes, I
you
do
know?
podcasts when I have a podcast up. I was editing earlier. I have a podcast I'll just listen to, and I have a podcast for every day of the week.
Yeah,
I listen to so many podcasts that they're
It's
like
nice.
a daily thing. It's great.
podcasts are great.
They are. But Allie,
Yes.
we're coming to a close here very soon.
Oh God.
Give me this last topic.
Oh God. I thought it'd be really fun for you if you, as someone who just graduated college, told us where you think you're gonna be in like 3 years, and we'll see how off you are.
Damn, that's
Is that too?
No, I just think that it's a thing I think about a lot. So it's like, oh man.
But I just want your best guess. Like, give me like fade in,
like where I want to be or where I think I will be.
where you like try to get as close as you can. You know, it's like darts.
I'm a very goal-driven person. So like I usually like set goals for myself, and I try like my best to catch those goals. So my goal for 3 years from now is obviously like hopefully have, you know, technically human grow really big, and you know,
Yeah.
get more of you guys listening and making cool content for everyone, and you know, for ourselves. And to in 3 years I want to be confident in my abilities as an editor and director and producer. I want to be able to be like, hey, I can do these things and I can do them well, and I'm proud of those facts. I can do them well.
Okay, so in 3 years, we're gonna put you up on a stage in front of
Okay.
a lot of people.
All
We're
right.
gonna ask DJ, "Are you confident in this?"
I'm just gonna cry and evaporate.
You have 3 years time to learn the lesson of confidence.
I feel like I just like
Total
signed like some
self-confidence.
blood oath, like some weird like we're back at dinosaur story like contract that has nothing on it, but as soon as like the blood hits it, the words appear, and then like I turn into a monkey, and then John Goodman comes as a dinosaur, and then I free him, and then there's also a clown that
Is this a reference to a movie? Are you making the?
No,
Okay.
this is actual things that happen, and then like the Carney guy he gets eaten by a bunch of crows, and then his eye falls out, and his eye's a screw, and then Jay Leno playing an alien goes up into the sky, and then he takes us back, and then we come back to the opening where the John Goodman T-Rex dinosaur is playing golf on the field with the birds, and the birds finally realize that he should be nice to his mom, and that it doesn't matter what his brothers think, that as long as he's nice to his mom and nice to people, he'll always be loved in his heart.
Why do you have me here? You could do this whole thing.
Just describe We're Back, a Dinosaur Story in depth.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dude, record like a 3-hour podcast that's you just not breathing and telling a whole story.
I could talk about We're Back, a Dinosaur Story forever. For anyone that hasn't seen it, go on Netflix right now and watch We're Back, a Dinosaur Story. It's 10 minutes over an hour long.
I don't think it will ever be better than your description of it just
No,
now.
there's so much stuff I did not say in this movie. There's also these peanuts called Brain Gain that he gives to these dinosaurs, that he time traveled back in time to capture these dinosaurs, to put them in a museum so that kids can love them and have the kids like be fascinated by dinosaurs again. This was also made by Don Bluth and Steven Spielberg, who makes an animated cameo in the movie. Also, the Screw Man, the Screw Eye, the guy that gets eaten by all the carnival, the crows.
Sure.
Okay, he has a coke nail in the movie.
Okay.
And they never say why he has a coke nail.
I think we know why he has a coke.
Well, we all know why he has a coke nail, but it's also
There's not really many reasons you would.
It just blows my mind that they animated it several times, and John Goodman plays a dinosaur, along with several other celebrities from the '90s, and it's Lisa Simpson plays a little girl in the movie, and she is from a rich family that like leaves her all the time and doesn't give her furniture, and like they'll send her pictures of like them on vacation saying wishing you were here. And it's like, why did you just take her with?
That's hilarious.
And there's a picture that she has, the only thing that she has framed in the entire apartment is this picture of her sitting alone at like a family gathering like event of like I don't know.
How did they have time for that character
It's
to be in
insane.
the story?
There's also a homeless boy who's the main protagonist. His name is Louis, and he looks a lot and sounds a lot like the bird from the beginning, but they're not related in any way.
All right. I'm just going to accept that as fact and move on with my life.
I want to show you We're Back, a Dinosaur Story one day and get your thoughts on it.
Oh, man.
Because these are just like excerpts of that things just happen all the time.
I don't think my brain is completely ready to absorb that entire movie. I'm already like, I don't think I can hold that much information.
Don't you want to see John Goodman as a dinosaur dancing around New York City, singing about how great it is to be a dinosaur, jumping on the back of Spider-Man balloon in Thanksgiving Day parade?
It's happening.
Don't you want that, Allie? Don't you want to experience that?
Not gonna lie, yeah, that sounds pretty nice. I'd watch that.
I also love that this question just turned into me talking about We're Back, a Dinosaur
Story.
Like
and also, I was hoping you were like, I only wear black slacks now, and like I was hoping for a visual image, and you were just like, yeah, generally just confident. Like,
yeah, just want to be better. Oh, so how I want to look in 3 years?
Yeah, I mean more like
who I am.
I have a steady job.
Okay.
I don't have to work for Uber anymore.
Yeah.
I wear these. I have this many tattoos. I don't know. Are you going for tattoos?
I might be getting a tattoo in May.
Oh, hey.
It's a very basic tattoo, but it's a sibling tattoo.
Oh,
and it's going to be like a line like on my like forearm here. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be like triangles, and each one's going to be shaded darker for the sibling. Like mine will be like the darkest at the top, and then my sister, and then my lowest sister, and they'll be light as whatever.
That's cute.
Yeah, I never thought of myself as a tattoo person.
Yeah.
But I like tattoos a lot. I'm such a particular person that if anything's fucked up about it, it would drive me crazy for the rest of my life. So I've just been like, I can't. Like I really want to get like the it's again super basic, but I want to get the Star Wars Rebel insignia like on my shoulder or something, and like get like a Nightwing thing somewhere, but just because like those are like my favorite things.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I can see myself. Let's say I have 3 tattoos. 3 years, I have 3 tattoos.
Okay.
I like the idea of wearing black slacks. I think I might be wearing shorts 3 years from now.
Not cargo shorts.
Not
right?
cargo,
All
but
right.
like some good shorts.
Okay.
A lot of bright pastel colors. A lot of 90s, late 90s designs kind of deal. It's hard to just, but like vapor wavy stuff.
All right.
I dig that. I'm also, I don't know.
You sound
Maybe,
like a youth pastor.
yeah, maybe I want to dress the things that make me happy. I want to be like free. I'm wearing sunglasses a lot.
Pastels and sunglasses.
Shoot, maybe I have a beard at that point.
Oh my god.
I really would like a beard. And then also I might have dreads again.
Whoa.
I've been thinking about the idea of having dreads again because,
That's like,
my hair's going to get crazy at some point. So I don't know.
I can like see what this is gonna be, but I can't wait to see how off you are too.
I
you
know, just completely
Yeah.
different. I like have a suit job and I'm like going in,
We're
hello
sellouts,
everybody.
but we still have the podcast.
Yeah, and the podcast slowly it turns from like, hey, we're gonna do this thing and it's gonna be great to I hate life and nothing
This
really
week on the
panned out.
stock market.
This
we
week,
saw-
the Dow Jones really didn't go up all that much, and I think I'm about to lose my house. And my dog don't like me, and I went to school the other day just to pick up my children because I have children now from class, and then the teacher bullied me and put me in a locker and said that
You're
I'm
back in class.
yeah, I'm back in class.
You went back to school.
Yeah,
That's
well, I'm
the
picking up my
saddest
kids. I'm
reality.
picking up my kids from school.
Oh,
And then the teacher
you
bullied
let
me.
the teacher bully you?
You don't let someone bully you. Bullying just happens to
No,
you.
you punch him in the face. You
No. I'm a very meek man at this point. I've also lost 50 pounds. I've lost 50 pounds.
Yeah,
I'm
you're a foot
wavishly
shorter.
thin. I'm a foot shorter, and then I'm also bald.
Hey. Hey.
Not of my own choice.
You are okay.
It's
I
like
can
not in a
accept that.
good way. It's a bad bald.
All right, dude. So for the people who are listening to the podcast, if there are any,
Me.
yeah, right. Hi, DJ, editing this.
Hey.
I shaved my head when I had short kind of boy cut hair, and then I
Yeah.
shaved it all off, and the reactions that I'm getting back from people are like they're trying to make up for the shit they've already talked about bald people. So they come up and they're like, a lot of people can't pull that off.
But
Thank you.
can.
Like, that's
Yeah.
it. They don't go like, but you can. They
Yep.
just go like, that looks bad on a lot of people. And I'm just like,
Uh-huh.
good to know. Glad you told me. Like,
I was just talking about this off air, but like people keep backwards complimenting my haircut now
Yeah.
because it went through a lot of awkward phases. I'm happy with where it is right now, but like it went through a lot of awkward phases. And I remember people come up to me now and they're like, "Oh, hey, yeah, is that your haircut? That look really, I hate a lot of people with that haircut, and I think it looks dumb most times. But you're pulling it off, man." I'm like,
oh, dude.
thanks.
I
guess."
never believe someone when they started out with, I hate that normally.
Yeah, it's like so aggressive. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, it feels like you just have to say that you hate something. And, like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you did used to hate something, you wouldn't bring it up.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like someone saying like, "Oh yeah," and I'm famous for this. It's like, "Oh yeah, that's actually a good idea."
dude,
Where it's
imagine.
like, "Fuck you, man."
Yeah. Dude, imagine that for, like sitting down with your kid and being like, you know what? I thought having a kid would be a really crap idea. Go to your room. Like,
Just saying that.
you can't do that to anyone else. But, I guess if I have one more thing that I want to talk about.
Yes. Well, I want you to answer the same question.
Oh,
though.
okay.
3 years.
In 3 years from
Yeah.
now.
5 feet taller.
Yeah. I have mastered walking on stilts.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd say in 3 years, I really want to have my own show. Like, I don't really care what the show is because I have a lot of ideas kind of going.
Like a network or like kind of something that we're doing right now, like on YouTube.
I really
Like a Netflix
not
original
really a
kind
preference,
of thing.
but I want something that has more than one season and people watch it.
Tight.
That
I agree with that.
I
I second
oversee.
that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, you big cheating cheater.
No,
Can't
I
have
just
my
said-
answer.
I'm not
Just
saying-
because my answer's better
Jesus.
doesn't mean. All right, everyone.
Allie, please put me down. Please put me down. I don't want to go off the balcony. Please. No, stop.
I didn't understand this for so long. I thought you meant like insult you real quick.
I climb back up. Just come back and fuck
I'm
me
back.
up. Just
I'm
put
back
me,
up
put
3
me
flights.
down. Insult me. All right.
Put
your
me
shoes
down,
are
Allie.
bad.
Put me down.
Okay, that's cool. I'm saying that's a seconding. Is like that's a yes. I would also agree with that. That's a cool. That's a good goal to have.
Yeah, and I want, like, I guess in 3 years, I want to be good at fake lashes. I suck at them right now. I'm
Okay.
so bad at putting fake lashes on.
Okay.
I want to be good at that. I want to be better at comebacks because I come up with pretty good ones right now, but I could take it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
And like I think right now when I'm insulting people, I don't have the face of it yet because I'm just like racking my brain for an answer, and I'm just like looking at them and like trying really quickly to be like, but that's because you're a big dumb person. Like, it's so.
Why don't you shut your face, you stupid? That was good. All right.
But I want to I think I should practice by going to downtown Austin and like just practicing on all the hecklers.
You'll be like the Batman of the nightclub community.
Yeah,
You just come like, you're dumb. Shut up. Join the show.
But like having something to say right back, like, I'm sorry, do you have a minute to talk about it for like our fraternity that needs funding or something? I'm like, all right, listen, just because you're using all your dad's money to waste your time here wearing polos and like, I want to be able to throw something like that immediately, and that's about as far as I can get right now.
Okay.
So like,
all right.
That's what I want to be really good at insults.
I want to be good at confrontation.
Yeah.
I'm trying to develop. I heard some fuck shit next to me. I was watching. I forgot what I was going to see, but I was seeing a movie, and the new Spider-Man trailer came on, like the Into the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales as the new Spider-Man, as the animated. Have you not seen this?
No.
It's really dope.
What?
So it's all right. So we have like. There's a new Spider-Man in the comics that was written about like 2013, 2012, maybe 2010. I don't know. But it was based off of loosely Donald Glover's campaign to be Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
So they made a character named Miles Morales who's a half black, half Latino, and he becomes the new Spider-Man essentially because Peter Parker gets like shot or something and dies. And his costume's fucking cool, and he's getting his own movie now, and I'm super excited. But I remember I was at the theater, and this cringe lord next to me was just like, oh god, I don't see why they're making this new Spider-Man. This is Spider-Man, by the way. That's
That's pretty tight.
Yeah,
I'd say it's worthy of dope.
Yeah, he's super cool. I love his design. But yeah, anyone want to look it up, like go see Miles Morales Spider-Man on Google. It's great. But yeah, so this guy next to me is like, oh god, why do they have to make him his own superhero? It's like Spider-Man. Like, there's 3 Spider-Men. What's happening? I don't understand. Also, he's black. And I was like,
Also? Excuse me.
He's like, why don't they just make him his own character? It's like, he is his own character.
Excuse me, sir.
Many people can be Spider-Man. Do you know how many people have been Batman over the years, you fucking moron?
Oh my god.
And I just wanted to look next to him. And they were like, throughout the movie, they were talking. And it was just like, they're the kind of people that are like, oh, here he goes. He did it. It's like, oh, I want to punch you in the face. I want to throw you down some stairs.
All right. So you got to practice being good at confrontation with that one. I'm good at that. Like, if someone's annoyed me for more than 5 minutes, then I can definitely speak up and say something. I won't sit in silence for a super long time. I'll be polite. Like, if I can walk away from a situation, I will.
Right.
But if I can't, I'm shoving it in their face.
That like kung fu mentality is like, don't use it unless you have to.
I mean, yeah, but like in that situation, like that's when you turn back and you're like, hey, listen, I super love what you're saying. I'm loving the commentary. I just think everyone else hates you.
Yeah, as a person.
I'm afraid you're unaware. So trust me, I'm your buddy here. I'm your friend. I'm on your side.
But
shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Or so help me.
Or so help me God. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I guess appearance-wise, I don't really.
You feel like you're aesthetically plateauing right now? You feel like you're good at the aesthetic you're at right now?
I want to have more tattoos for sure.
Okay.
That's a definite.
Tight.
I want to have so many tattoos that people stop asking me what my tattoo is.
Oh, we're just starting to do that green arm thing?
Yeah. It just turns into like I just have the skin color of tattoo, and that's fine with me.
Yeah.
But I guess I want to be good at wearing lady suits because I haven't figured that out yet, and it's a freaking art form, man.
Okay.
It's not as easy to get fitted for a female suit than it is for a dude suit.
Yeah, I bet.
But I want to be good at it, and I want to be good at dressing snazzy. And,
Hell yeah, I want to be good at dressing snazzy too.
Yeah.
We'll be a snazzy company.
Yeah,
snazzy day.
Maybe one day out of the entire year will I feel like putting it on, but I will have it
that
at
day,
my arsenal, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I also kind of want to live in a van, so these things are really
you can dress snazzy in a van.
I don't think you can. No offense to van lifers.
Those people cannot. There's no crossover.
There's lots of directions that I could take though, so
that's true.
I feel like there's more pressure on you though because you are graduated.
Yeah.
Like I a lot of this is like I'm gonna put off thinking about until I've graduated.
But the only difference between us is like 6 months.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
it feels like a lot.
True.
Like,
a lot can happen in
because,
6 months.
Like, yeah, I mean, it just from like, I think it means a lot to have been graduated than to be close to graduation.
That's true. Yeah, I suppose so. It's a weird feeling because it's like this thing, because I got delayed a lot too. So it's like I just couldn't get into myself I was going to be there forever. And now that I don't have to go there anymore, it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Well, I hate right now with school, what I hate the most is that I have to think like, oh, I really want to do this project. I really want to do this project this coming months while the weather is right for the scene or something like that. I don't want to give it to some of the classes that I have because either there's too many students or the teacher is just not really good at delegating work, or something like the edit's going to be shabby because you're only going to have a week to edit.
Yeah, like you want it to be like the stars can align for it in a way.
Yeah,
where you have more
or
control
at least want to
over
give it its best shot. It's like letting a fish go into the ocean. Like don't put it down the toilet. It's going to be breathing poop for so long.
Yeah,
like go somewhere and like give it its best shot.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Cool. That sounds good. That sounds like I feel like we got good goals.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'll probably give up on a lot of them. I'm not gonna lie.
But that's why you have a lot of goals. So
Yeah.
by the time that you've given up on every
Hopefully
other
one will stick.
Exactly. But
right?
All right. So I think that's good for the first or second episode of the Technically Human podcast.
Yeah.
Allie,
I
thanks for
do
being
want to
here.
add. I will be coming out with. I've started watching the first season of Naruto.
Yes.
Because I'm going to have a podcast that is unnamed yet, but it's basically going to be me, not the target market of Naruto, and someone who's never seen Naruto before is going to sit down and watch watch an entire season of Naruto, and then I'm going to get a group of friends that consists of both Naruto experts and people who have never seen Naruto before, and I'm basically going to explain to the people who haven't seen it what the hell just happened and try to give it like the most honest description, and then also I'm almost certain I'm gonna find things that I think are dumb about it. No offense to Naruto fans,
is what it is.
But I'm going to give the people that watched it, like Avery, our friend Avery is gonna join us.
Shouts out to Avery. What's up? One time.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And he like we're gonna defend it and talk about it, and if you want to know what happened in Naruto but you don't want to sit down and watch all of Naruto, I will do it for you, and you can come listen to my podcast.
Yeah. Hey, and we also got a sociology podcast coming up pretty soon too, and that's gonna be a real fun. We got death and dying as the first topic, real strong start. So I think you guys want to listen to that. Also, as you have your thing, I also have my thing as well. Wrestling podcast coming real big, real soon. WrestleMania is coming up, so we're gonna try to do the first episode based off of that. It's gonna be 2 parts. It's gonna be one with me talking to someone that knows a lot about wrestling, and we're gonna talk about the details and the nitty gritty of it. And then we're also gonna have my friend Ashley on, yours friend as well. Rep Ashley one more time, one shot, bang bang. We're gonna have Ashley on who hasn't watched wrestling in a very long time, and I'm gonna try to explain to her that there are some men that wear leather jackets sometimes, and then sometimes he's also a demon, and that there's also a man that dances to ska music. There's also a mean French Canadian man that's a gerbil human essentially.
Oh, I love him.
He's great. I'll pull up a picture of him.
That was the only description of that person. I'm already in love.
And it's a bunch of fun stuff, and I can't wait to show her and show you guys the love that I have for this wrestling game, because it is bountiful.
Oh my
and I'm also
gosh.
We're gonna watch a bunch of Kevin Owens promos after this, by the way.
This looks like the sweetest human being on the inside. I'm not gonna lie, he's got a big grumpy face, but he looks like the sweetest person.
That's the most genuine description that you could ever give of Kevin Owens.
Oh my gosh.
But you know what? Till we see you guys on those podcasts. See you later. Peace out.
Bye.
Bang.
Have a good one. Have a good week.